Okay, today we're drafting a simple Polo Placket. First, trace off your body's front. Okay, it's traced off. And now measure from top, center front, neckline intersection down 3.5 inches. Square a line across. Go up 1/2 inch, square a line across. Go down 1/2 inch from the last line, square a line across. And go up, draw a vertical line 3/4 of an inch, which represents half of the total width of the placket. Now we're going to trace off this line and flip it. Using Scotch tape, I anchor my paper. I'm going to trace off this section, which represents half of the placket width. And I'm going to flip it. Okay. Now I'm going to cut it out and flip it. And in this draft, I'm focusing primarily on the placket. So I haven't concentrated on the neckline seam allowance, which you can go from 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, depending on the bulk of the fabric. So now I flip it and I'm going to tape it down. Tape it down. Now I'm going to first square line across from the center front at top. That's going to represent the underside. Okay, and I transfer these square lines across to the trace off. I'm going to draw my seam allowance, which is 1/4 inch from the first horizontal line. Do it the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to draw a diagonal line to the side of the middle line, okay? All right. So now that represents the full width. Now we have on this draft now the full width of the placket, which is 1.5 inches, okay? Now that squiggly line is where I'm going to trace off the underside. We say I put those dots. So now we're going to do some tracing off. Anchor your paper. And trace off. So we're tracing off the underside, guys. Go right across for your square line. Okay. Put in your center front notch. And put in your side notch. Okay. And now we're going to crease the paper and transfer all that to the other side in order to get the full width of the underside of the placket. Okay. Right. So now we transfer all that markings over on this side. Transfer your notches. Transfer your side notch. Now that's the full width of the underside of the placket. Just truing up the corner there. This step is very important actually. And transfer that marking on the other side as well. Now we're going to put in our seam allowance, which is 1/4 inch. Do it on the other side as well. And as I said, I've left out the seam allowance for the neck. When you're doing yours, you can put 1/4 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch, depending on how thick your fabric is. If it's very thick, you put 1/4. If it's not that thick, you can put 3/8. So now I'm cutting out. And you can fuse off of this from the center line going out. It's up to you, depending on your fabric and the behavior of your fabric. Anchor. And now we're going to label. Okay, let's before we label, let's trace out the top side of the placket. Anchor your paper. Same procedure for the top as we done for the underside, except we're tracing out the very outer line at the center front there. So on the quarter body, the top side placket is wider than the underside by 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Put your notches. Put your side notch. Remove the paper. We're going to crease and transfer those markings on the other side. Okay. Join your notches. Throw up your neckline. Transfer to the other side. Put in your seam allowance, 1/4 of an inch. Label center front or fold line, label fold line. And you cut out. Tape down. You don't have to tape down, but for demonstration purposes so that you can see better, I'm anchoring it. So I'm labeling placket right side up. So I label top placket right side up, under placket right side up, meaning cut one right side up. Okay, and you can put fusing an half of each placket. Okay, depending on the behavior of your fabric. And basically that's it. It's very easy and it's very simple. This is the easiest placket actually